Welcome to the Page by Page Book Club. I'm your host, Paige in Print, and I bring you weekly book club meetings wherever you get your podcasts. I always run out of breath when I'm saying that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Welcome back, people. I am batch recording some of these podcast episodes right now as I am prepping to go to the one and only France. I am thrilled and excited to be on vacation. The week that you're listening to this, I am frolicking in France. And so just think about me there, having a beautiful time off. But in the meantime, we're prepping together, we're chatting, so that you all have a Gorgina podcast episode for when I return. With that being said, I feel like it's obvious, but in this book club, audiobooks certainly count as reading. Why wouldn't they? Who said that they didn't? I think that it's so funny when people say audiobooks don't count as reading, because I'm like, Diva, count for what? Count to what? Who's counting? We're all adults here. We get to pick what we're counting. So like, what do you mean it doesn't count? Who's counting? Who's this person doing the counting? That's my question. However, I want to talk about some of my personal favorite audiobooks. Audiobooks that simply changed me. Audiobooks, dare I say, that you shouldn't eyeball read this book. You should listen to it instead. There are a few, many such cases. I'm on an audiobook kick, and I think the world is on an audiobook kick as far as I can tell. It's very, very interesting. I think we're all entering into our analog eras. Things like needlepoint, many such cases. Puzzles, many such cases. Getting outside, going for a walk, many such cases. Getting off your phone, many such cases. And so, with that being said, people are adjusting to an audiobook so that they can listen and kind of multitask, right? Well, love an audiobook. In fact, audiobooks have been sustaining me through this time. I have been really, really struggling to read. As you all know, it has been a bit of a sore subject for me. I have slightly lost my spark in the eyeball reading department. So audiobooks have been sustaining me through this dark time. I know as you're listening to this, I will be actively in France getting my spark back. I'm certain of it. Fear not. But audiobooks just hold me through in that way. And again, I think it's just the multitasking of it all. It allows me to do my little needlepoint projects. It allows me to go on my walk. It allows me to read while I'm driving down the highway. You know what I mean? She's a multitask diva. I've always been an audiobook person. Sorry, not audiobook. I've always been a podcast person. I've always loved podcasts. I was like, the moment I could drive, I was listening to a podcast in the car. So audiobooks are the natural progression. Okay. With all this being said, do I have any favorite narrators? You know what? I very rarely stumble upon a narrator I don't enjoy. In my very, very first Page in Print Awards back in 2024, I did have a Female and Male Narrator of the Year award. Very fun, very funky, very fresh. I have not done that since because, quite frankly, it's something that I could never do and something I'm not judging. But I do, as many people do, love a Samantha Brimore, love a Jason Nash. No, not whoa, Jason Nash, like the YouTube TikToker. I'm so sorry. Jason Clark, I'm sincerely sorry. Please accept my apology for comparing you to Jason Nash. Okay. Not comparing you. Anyway, getting you mixed up with Jason Nash. Okay. Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that. She talks to the empty room. I do love a Connor Christ moment. It's hard to beat. I love a Lucy Rivers, Vanessa Vasquez. Oh, I love Caden. Ooh, what's your last name, Caden? Let's just start there. Roleplay. K. Cove. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal audiobook. I was doing a reread of Roleplay actually on audio. So it was my second read through. Caden Hart, Come to the Front. Wow. Phenomenal work. He does such a great, he's not a growly type. Whereas I think a Jason Clark or a Connor Craze is more of a growly, grumpy type. Caden plays the perfect funny guy for me. He plays the perfect, like, funny, acts of service, like, sweet guy. I love this. He has such a great voice for it. So Roleplay by K Cove is one of those books where it's like, listen to it. The audiobook, top tier. What else? That is just one of the ones. Oh, if you don't know about Roleplay, I know I've talked about it quite a few times. He is a luxury escort because he's just trying to make ends meet after a horrific situation with his ex-fiance and the mother of his child. And she accidentally hires him when she thought she was just eating gummy bears, but was actually taking gummies, and ends up hiring him. And he's like, well, I can't refund you because I really need this money, but I can help you roleplay popular romance tropes because you're a romance author, and I can help you get your spark back and get inspiration for your books, because she, I believe, has never had a boyfriend. Such a sweet book, such a sweet audiobook. Chef's kiss. Moving onward. Any audio by Samantha Young is gonna make me happy. Why? Because they're Scottish. And I just love a Scottish accent. Oh, I can't believe I didn't start with this. I am a speed listener. I am a speed listener when it comes to audiobooks. I am talking 3x is my baseline. I know. Please don't come for me. 3 times speed is my baseline. If I am immersive reading, I will take it all the way up to 3.5. And sometimes that's still even a little slow for my immersive to like keep up with my eyeballs. I think it has something to do with me not having an internal monologue, like dueling with the audiobook, neither here nor there. So I'm a fast listener. I am zooming through these audiobooks. However, with Samantha Young and these accents, I do have to bump it down to 2.5 times speed because your girl is missing things because they're moving too fast with their cute little accents. And I need it to be slowed down. But if you like an accent on audio, Samantha Young, start with Here With Me, or with Half Light Harbor, both phenomenal. Usually that's going to be Shane East. He is a British man, but he does all of the accents, all of them. We love an accent. Thank you, Shane East, for your accent service. Speaking of accents, have you all read the Ever King series yet? I am obsessed with that series. It is like ACOTAR meets Pirates of the Caribbean in the sense that it is fae, but it is also pirate fae. And it's a little morally gray, childhood friends, some diet kidnapping, romantic situation. The first 2 are duet. The third is a new couple. I really love that series, and they have fun accents. Yeah, let's talk on that. To me, a romantic is gonna have an accent. It's just gonna have an accent. Like, if you're a fae, in my brain, you're British or something. You know what I mean? Speaking of romantic audiobooks, Quicksilver audiobook, top notch, top tier. I know there are feuding opinions on Quicksilver. I listened to it on audio my first read through. That was my first and only experience reading Quicksilver, and I had a fantastic time. So that's how I feel about Quicksilver. If you've ever wondered, I don't even know how to begin to explain Quicksilver, to be honest with you, other than there are fae. And it's a classic, like, human girl, but are you a human girl? And then he's not human, and that's kind of the tea. Yeah, so that's a great one. Oh my gosh. Guys, first of all, my memory is just not serving me today. It has been quite the week. So I'm like, what is this book called? Because I have the dust jacket sleeve off because it's prettier that way. But now I'm like, what is the name? It is called First Time Caller. There we go. First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. Why is this such a fun audiobook? Honestly, I'm going to follow it up too with And Now Back to You, book 2 in that series. It's so fun because First Time Caller is about a radio show, and they lean into the radio show elements in First Time Caller. Like, they have the sound effects, and it's just a radio show book on audio makes sense. And then And Now Back to You is about a newscast, and again, they have some sound effects in there. And I like whimsy in a sound effect. What can I say? What can I say? I like a whimsical sound effect in my audiobook. And that's just how I feel. That's how I feel. So, if you have not listened to First Time Caller, you're missing out. Merit by Devony Perry was one of those books. If you know me, you know it's a Roman Empire read for me, where I desperately wanted to keep reading, but I also desperately didn't want to miss out on any moment of the audio. It was during an era where I wasn't always immersive reading. I was kind of flipping back and forth between the audio and the ebook. And I remember distinctly my husband being asleep next to me and I was reading Merit and I was like, dang it, I really want to hear these narrators. So I got up, got my headphones to listen to Merit because the narrators were just so good in my opinion. It is childhood friends, enemies, lovers. His mom's terminally ill and her dying wish is for them to get along again. So they fake date to appease her. Gutting, devastating, never been seen before. I'm obsessed with that book. Speaking of Devney Perry, a performance unlike any other from Samantha Brentmore as a solo narrator in Shield of Sparrows. Wow, 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 wow. I hope she won awards for that performance. I really, really do. Samantha Brentmore's man voice? Hello? Yeah. Give it to me now. Give it to me now. Oh, I heard an interesting take, and I think it was from Samantha. I'm so sorry. This episode's all over the place. I'm just like, we're stream of consciousness, and we are exhausted. But Samantha had said that while she enjoys duet, I think this was her. And if it wasn't, it was someone else. But while she enjoys duet, she does miss just classic dual POV to kind of, exercise her man voice chops. And it had to have been her. When I was talking to her at an event, she was like, I had good chemistry with myself. And I was like, that's iconic. That's an iconic take. I love that take so much. So Samantha Brentmore has great chemistry with herself. And I stand by that. Another audiobook that I really, really, really loved was Rewind It Back by Liz Tomvordy. I am far more likely to cry listening to an audiobook than I am eyeball reading. I think it has to do with my lack of internal monologue and lack of ability to visualize my aphantasia because I'm not watching these scenes play out. However, if I am listening to the audiobook, I am getting a sense of emotion. It's not that reading's unemotional for me if I'm just eyeball reading, but I do get to experience the narrator's emotion with them. So Rewind It Back was one of those for me where I was just sobbing through the last 30%. I can't really explain if it was just because the Windy City series was coming to an end or because I loved Rio and Hallie. So I don't know, but I was sobbing. Catch Me Crying on the Floor. Additionally, very, very similarly, Drifting Dawn by Samantha Young. I will never forget. I am sobbing, driving down the interstate. Both hands on the wheel, tears running down my face. The person next to me, it was kind of we were going quickly and then we got stuck in standstill traffic. And this person sitting next to me looks over and goes, "You good?" And I was like, "No, I'm not good. Samantha Young did this to me. I'm sobbing on the interstate. Does it look like I'm good?" And the book, the angst, and then the narration of the book and the angst, I've never been the same. I just haven't. So thanks a lot, Samantha Young, for making me cry on the interstate. The audiobook for that was just so good. Oh, The Dark Verse by Rue Nix. I have not been talking about The Dark Verse much, if at all, on any of my social medias, and that has changed. Because I cannot, that was another one. It is single POV from the FMC's perspective. I think the whole series, maybe not the whole series. At least the first book is, and the narrator was phenomenal. So if you're in the mood for a mafia moment where he's near silent and hates her, but she doesn't know why he hates her, boy, do I have a treat for you. That book and series is everything. I binged it back to back, immersive reading. The audiobooks, chef's kiss. So fun. So fun. I do love a good audiobook cast. Lauren Blakely always delivers on this. Megan Quinn will always deliver on this. I'm thinking of both of their Christmas books and Christmas specials. I love a fun cast of characters. Catherine Cowles is taking a really fun spin on cast with having all of her leading guys in her most current series be casted from the jump and played by their same narrator in every single book, which is super, super fun. I'm having a great time with that series, she says, I've only listened to one of them, but that has been really fun and a unique spin on a full cast. I don't know if the female leads are going to stick with their characters once they're done. Unclear. But really, really love that very much. I do always lean towards an audio moment for a romantasy or a magical realism book. And the reason being, I'm an auditory learner. If I hear something, I'll remember it forever. And I think that I notice a significant difference when I listen or immersive read versus just eyeball read in my retention. Like, I just learn best when I'm hearing it. And so I think, emphasis on think, that reading like fantasy or magical realism where there's world building elements is very important. It keeps me sane, which is why I've been waiting for the audio of Tropesic, which just became available on NetGalley today, and I downloaded it. I am thrilled, over the moon, very excited. I also listened to Deepened by Ali Hazelwood, and I loved that audio, but I got eaten alive on TikTok. Oh my gosh. So he's Swedish, and the narrator has an accent in this audiobook. I talked about the audiobook. I really enjoyed it. I listened to an ALC of it, and I was eaten alive on TikTok by what felt like the country of Sweden, being like, that is not an authentic Swedish accent. How dare you say you enjoyed it? It was crazy. Like, never in my days. And like, with all due respect, I just didn't know. I really just did not know that that was not a true, authentic Swedish accent. And for that, I'm sorry. I am truly, deeply, madly sorry. I didn't know. Please forgive me. So, that was the gag. Okay. I cannot believe we haven't talked about her yet. But one of the dark horse audiobooks of my year last year was High Sticking the Heart by Marie M. Wow, wow, wow. He has a southern accent. What can I say? I like a southern accent. I live in Tennessee. It brings me much joy. It is, hockey player, and he just comes from the South, and he does still kind of wear a cowboy hat sometimes. So he's a Southern gentleman. He's fake dating his strength and conditioning coach because they unknowingly met the night before and got paparazzi together. So they have to fake date so she can keep her job. But they end up falling for each other. Black cat, golden retriever. Hey, chef's kiss, perfection. I love an accent in a book. What can I say? And again, I think it's just because I don't talk to myself and don't have an internal monologue. Like, I'm getting to just experience these stories to an extent. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be experiencing these stories to an extent. And so anytime I get an accent opportunity, consider me sat. Oh, I just looked at it. King of Envy by Anna Wong was such a fascinating audiobook because the MMC in that story is near silent and primarily communicates through sign language. And so they did an interesting effect. I believe it was Connor Kreis. They did a very interesting effect on his voice to indicate that he was speaking a sign language. Because obviously you can't do an audiobook with sign language. I'm like, duh, but they did specify in a way, and I did immersive read that. So in the book, it's done in italics to indicate that he's signing, and in the audiobook, they almost put like a slight muffle like effect. It's so interesting. I really, really was intrigued by this and appreciated this. So I would love to do a reread of King of Wrath on audio as my very first read as a romance reader, and I think going back to it on audio would be really, really fun. Nothing brings me more joy, to be honest with you, than one, doing an audio reread and getting to experience the book in a new light, or B, when a favorite book is finally released on audio. It's kind of twofold. They go hand in hand. But like an example of that is In a Jam by Kate Canterbury, of course. The first time I did it, it was the second book I ever read was Eyeball. And then my reread, my annual reread I do on audio. She's my comfort read for a reason. And the audio is just so good. He's so grumpy and broody and I love him. But it's long. Like long. Another audio I love, and I don't have this book on my shelves, and I need to rectify that because it's a favorite of mine, is Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. It's book 2 in the Lakefront Billionaires series. Is that right? Love Unwritten? Single Dad Nanny. Gosh, I gotta get that on my shelves. That was one of my favorite audiobooks ever. In another long one. Sometimes my heart rate elevates and I get a little nervous when I go into my audiobook and it says 22 hours long, 24 hours long, 36 hours long. Hey, don't do that to me. Don't put me in this position. Why am I committing days to this? That's crazy. It's just like, and we know they're long books by the page count, but then to see it in the amount of time it would take to read out loud is just crazy. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with a long book. I love a long book just as much as the next gal. It is just so crazy to open the audiobook and it says 24 hours, 26 hours. And then there's just like one slow tear. It's like, man, this is a commitment. Even at 3 times speed. But hey, do it for the plot, as they say. You just got to do it. And that I'll be doing. I am anxiously awaiting a few series to land on audio, or I'm in the middle of some series on audio, and the books are out, but the next audiobook's not out. That's tough. That's always a bummer. But you have 2 choices. You can either wait, or you can just eyeball read. And I don't know. It just depends on how quickly I am able to like get out of this reading slump. I don't even want to call it a reading slump because it's not that like nothing's hitting for me. It's that like I am having a personal issue getting to read. Like I don't have time to even get to the point to sit down to read. You know what I mean? That's the gag. And that's been the problem. So we're hoping to be so back. By the time you're listening to this, I'm going to call it right now because I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I will be so back. And we will prevail. You and I will make it through this. One audiobook at a time. So I think audiobooks are going to be my answer to just get back into things at a bare minimum. Just immersive reading for sure is going to be super helpful for me. I have like 20 books that I downloaded during the Audible sale a few months back in April, and it is time to really dig into those. So I would absolutely love to know what your favorite audiobook is. I am patiently awaiting Gray Area by Kay Cove, now that I'm thinking about it, because he's going to have an Australian accent. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. I looked at that book and I was like, Australian, can't wait. Anyway, what is your favorite audiobook? I'm in the market, obviously, so let me know. Keep me updated. I am always in the market. And I will be back in a few weeks reporting live and giving you great news that my reading slump is over, war is over, and I am so back. I hope you're as excited as I am. And I cannot wait to try some new books with you all. Try some new books. Read some new books and share them with you all. There you go. I'm obviously tongue-tied. I'm obviously tired. I'm obviously not able to remember things. So I'm going to cut myself off. But thank you so much for spending book club with me. And I'll see you all in the next one.